Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and Merry Christmas to all of you! Yeah, I decided, it's been a while since a commentary, and I wanted to do something for Christmas, so here's a special bonus commentary. Well, not necessarily bonus, but, it's just commentary to watch or listen to while, you're probably having recoiling from all the Christmas traditions and all that stuff. And I decided to pick Super Mario Bros. Because it's not by itself. It's not a game that I have that many memories towards. Actually, the first Mario game I ever played was New Super Mario Bros. On the DS. But it's one of the most iconic games of all time. I probably wouldn't call it the most iconic because I get the feeling that more people know Tetris more than Super Mario Bros. But people know Super Mario Bros. And Wii Sports. They also know that one a lot. So, this playthrough will be pretty cookie cutter. As you guys have probably noticed, I am using an emulator. I did save state before the beginning of every level. And I did kind of a rule myself. It's like, okay, I'm only going to save at the beginning of each level. I'm not going to save, in the level itself. But the last few levels got pretty hard for me, so I had to at least do a couple of save states on those. But besides that, I think I kept that rule pretty well. It's actually the first time, this commentary, it actually marks the first time I played Super Mario Bros. From beginning to end while going through all the levels. Because normally, when I've played Super Mario Bros. In the past, I normally just, skip a lot of levels thanks to the warp zones. But in this game, but for this commentary, I decided to not showcase that and showcase all of the levels the game has, from World 1 to World 8, all 4 in each world, and because I thought that was just fitting. So, I guess this is a good opportunity as I need to detail what's my experience with the Mario series. And well, it's a relatively simple one. I started back just like your fellow blue fuckboy Sonic the Hedgehog. I got to know Mario via Flash games. And I remembered the one I was the most impressed by as a kid. It was Super Mario 63. I never beat it, and when I was a kid I didn't really know how to beat it. But maybe one day I'll go back to that game and give it more of a fair shake now that I'm an adult and I know to play games now. But outside of that, one of the first three games I ever came in contact with outside of Flash games was Super Mario 64. Now, I would not play Super Mario 64 for a good few years, but I saw a tool-assisted speedrun of it back when I was very young, back when Google Videos was a thing, before they bought Google, before Google bought YouTube, and that's how I found out about Super Mario 64. And I didn't even know what a TAS was. I didn't know. I thought that the backwards long shot was just a normal thing you could do in the game, but it was my first ever contact with the game, and what's kind of captivated me was the amount of different environments you went through. I know compared to other Mario games, it's probably not as strong. I mean, it is really good, but there's other Mario games that are more creative than 64, because 64 was really just the series transition to 3D. It was bold, but in terms of environments and stages, it's not that out of this world. But it captured my young brain, my young self, and that's how I firmly got introduced to the Mario series. And I remember when I was in 4th grade, I would play around with some other kids, and we would come up with Super Mario 64 stuff oh, I got some red coins, oh, I got some blue coins, oh, we're in the desert world now, oh it's so hot, oh, we're in the ice world now, it's so cold. Memories from my childhood, I'll never forget that. But then eventually I would be able to get New Super Mario Bros. On the Nintendo DS, that was the first console I ever got. It wasn't even mine, it was from my sister, and then she passed it out to me because she didn't really give much of a shit about games in the long run. But then she passed it out to me, and I started giving a shit about it. And while I didn't get many games for the DS in the long run, there's plenty of DS games I have not played, like the Sonic handheld games. At the time of this recording, I have not played any of the Sonic Rush games, which is a bit of a shame, but one day I'll rectify that. But New Super Mario Bros. DS was the first official Mario game I've ever played, and I remember I was pretty young and I had a very hard time with the game, especially in later levels. And 100%ing it was a bitch, but I remember when I finally got all those star medals and 100% of the game, it was a very special moment. And something that I still have not redone since then. Because while I have a lot of fun memories with the original New Super Mario Bros. On the DS, I have never replayed the game, even like just to from start to finish. Not even just like any percent, you know. Maybe 100%. I don't know, but like not even any percent. And that's something I should do one day. I mean, when the Wii U and 3DS eShops were closing down and we had like a year to like make our final purchases, I decided to just prioritize the games I would just never be able to play. While and because before I was thinking, oh, I should get New Super Mario Bros. And Super Mario 64 DS. I'll get to that one in a bit on the Wii U Virtual Console because then I'll be able to play on TV. But I never got around to that, and when that final year of eShop of the eShop for those platforms came, I just decided, okay, I'm gonna prioritize games I've never played before. So those two, which I can easily get on my DS, you know, are not gonna be ones I'm gonna prioritize. And I never got them on the Wii U, but now that I have a 3DS, I can play them because my DS, unfortunately, while it's not broken, it still works. The top screen feels like it's gonna come off at any moment. And unfortunately, because of that, I can really play Game Boy Advance games. Not that I had many Game Boy Advance games. I only got Sonic Advance 2 and 3. I was able to beat 2, but the screen kind of broke. That connector kind of broke before I got to Advance 3, so I still haven't really played Advance 3 because of that. I know I could easily go for an emulator, but if I can, I'll try to get an official release. But, you know, maybe one day. But to make this going back to Mario, Sonic, you'll get your moment in the spotlight someday. You know, I have plans for that in the future, but I'll keep them a secret for now. With Mario, I did eventually, and because Super Mario 64, I heard that, because when I was a kid, I still went on the internet a lot, and I would go to, like, Nintendo's website, and this was, you know, I'm from Portugal, and there was a time where Nintendo didn't have a Portuguese website, so sometimes I would go to the American website, or just, like, UK website, and then they eventually had a Portuguese website, but it was Nintendo America, so it was like Portugal and Spain glued together, and then eventually they got separated. Now we have a Nintendo Portugal and Nintendo Spain website. But there was a time where Nintendo's website was quite old, and I remember that there was a page for Super Mario 64 DS, and I was like, oh, they made Super Mario 64 for DS and it looks so much better. Oh my god, this looks cool. I want to play it. And I remember asking once for Christmas, and I was really happy to play it. That was also the same day I kind of set up the groundwork for my top screen of the DS breaking because I accidentally let the DS fall. So that sucked. It was the older model of the DS, and I never got another DS model since then. Only until really the 3DS, and thank God I could play my DS games there, but I can't really play Game Boy Advance games unless I go back to that original DS I got, and I'm very scared of playing it because even though it only requires one screen to play a Game Boy Advance game, I kind of don't really want to break it, so I haven't really touched my DS ever since that thing happened. But I remember really enjoying Super Mario 64 DS, so much so that I would eventually not only just 100%, but eventually I would 100% it 5 times. For a good while, the DS was the only handheld console I ever had before I got the Switch. So, and I didn't have that many games for the DS. I mean, I eventually got WarioWare Touched, and that was fun, but it was very quick, and eventually I gave up on doing 100%. New Super Mario Bros. Was something I remember having a tough time, so I always go back to Super Mario 64 DS whenever I was out and I needed a console to spend some time with. Eventually, I was just, because how much I got tired of playing the DS because I didn't get that many new games for it, I would just eventually bring the Wii U with me sometimes. But then eventually I got the Switch, and that's pretty much the go-to console I used to bring it. I have gotten the PSP and a new 3DS XL since then, but the 3DS I was really scrambling to get the games, so there weren't that many opportunities of me going out and getting it. Only like a couple here and there, and the PSP very similar. Although the PSP never was in a rush. The PSP store already shut down, and I'm not really getting any digital PSP games now. I do hope to get more physical PSP games next year, because that's a console that has a great library, and I want to try it more. Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max. I've discussed this with a few friends before. That's a game that I definitely want to get, since that's pretty much the best version of Alpha 3. It's just that Capcom should bring it to consoles. That's all. But after Super Mario 64 DS, I would I would get more into Nintendo around 2010, and this shortly after I got my PS3 back in 2009. It was interesting. I got my PS3, but I was getting into Nintendo, and I was like, oh, I wanted a Wii or a DSi or eventually the 3DS, which took me 11 fucking years to get a 3DS, but finally did it. I did it. But eventually I would get a Wii U in 2015. And while I didn't play a Mario game right away, I would eventually get into more Mario games, starting with Super Mario RPG, interestingly enough, and then, because I remember, I think I got that one in Christmas of 2015. That's sort of a latch-ditch ever, because I was asking for too much during that Christmas. I was still a young kid. I was like 14. I thought my parents could like give me another console right away because I wanted the 3DS right away, but no. And they ended because I wasn't able to decide on a much simpler gift by that time. I didn't really get anything of sort. So after Christmas, I talked to my parents like, "Oh, how about getting a Virtual Console game?" And back then, I had two choices. I was thinking it's like two choices: either the most recent Virtual Console game at that time, which was Super Mario RPG, or Super Metroid. Super Metroid is one of my favorite games of all time, but it took me quite a while for me to actually play it until the NSO days, actually. Until I got a Switch and I played it through NSO. And then eventually I would get both the Wii U and new Nintendo 3DS versions because I love that game so much. But with Mario, I got Super Mario RPG and I got stuck on that game for many years. I won't be able to beat it until 2020. The Valentina boss fight kinda kicked my ass. And while I don't really think too much on that game now, even with the remake coming around, I mean, I did enjoy it. I just didn't think it was anything too special, and I'm definitely very picky with my turn-based RPGs. But, I had a good time. I got a good time with it. And then afterwards, I think in 2016, that's when I got Super Mario Galaxy. And Super Mario Galaxy, I was able to beat it in like 5 days. Not just beat it, 100% complete it as well, Mario and Luigi in 5 days. I was a kid during that summer. I think I had a lot of time, so I finished games pretty quickly. But that was summer. It was just like a summer. I got a lot of games like Super Mario Galaxy, Wii Sports, Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD, No More Heroes, and probably some others in the middle as well. It was just a lot. It was a time where I experimented with a lot, and then eventually I would go back to Mario Kart 8 because I got Mario Kart 8 alongside my Wii U, but I didn't play much. I focused more on Smash 4 and Splatoon, and but then eventually I would play the game more, and thanks to it, and then eventually Virtual Racing, I got more into racing games, so that's nice. But in terms of Mario platforms, I would play Super Mario Galaxy 1. Then eventually, Super Mario Sunshine was always one that interested me, and I was able to play it via like interesting hack that I did to my Wii U years later, but I didn't really finish it, and I was having a little bit of trouble with it. But Super Mario 64, I would eventually fix that hack. I was eventually play it with the Wii Virtual Console version, and then I got it officially on the Wii U Virtual Console. And then right after I had finished Super Mario 64 on the Wii U Virtual Console, rumors of a Super Mario 3D collection started going around. I was like, oh boy, time for me to play Super Mario 64 again. And Super Mario 3D All-Stars would be one of the few games ever where I would actually get that compilation day one. And thanks to it, I played Super Mario 64 again. I replayed Super Mario Galaxy, and I played Sunshine from beginning to end for the first time, and I actually did 100%. And while I have some gripes with that game, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. The blue coin collecting is not nearly as bad as people make it out to be honest. But the Poison River can go fuck itself. Fuck that stage. There's jank. You can definitely tell the game was rushed. But it was a game that I've always was curious about ever since I was a kid because of its tropical environment. It's like, oh my god, this game looks gorgeous, But I still remember when I was a kid. I remember I was trying to make a GameCube out of paper and then like trying to make a controller and then just like watch videos of it and trying to like whenever they would jump, I would press the button to jump and stuff like that just to try and mimic the feeling of me playing the game. This was way before I got a Wii U and stuff like that. But I never finished that paper GameCube, by the way. I never did. I don't even know where it is now. I need to check someday. Before I got the free collection, the free All Stars, I got the Galaxy 2. And before then, sometime after, because Galaxy 2 was 2018, summer 2018. A bit after I played Sonic 06, I believe. And then after the Galaxy 2, I would get my Switch at the end of 2018, and I wasn't able to get Smash Ultimate right away. But one of the major retailers of Portugal at the time, Fnac, was doing this promotion where if you buy the Switch, you get a game for free. And the other games that were on there, I mean, it were 5 games. It was Super Mario Party, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, and Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Super Mario Odyssey, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was out of stock. Pokemon didn't really interest me. Super Mario Party is very multiplayer centric, so I was not gonna really play that much. So I decided to go for Mario Odyssey, and I actually was able to beat the game in around a month. 100%. All moons, 999 moons, and just because I felt like it, level 50 in Luigi's Balloon World, because why not? Be honest, I actually really had a fun time with Luigi's Balloon World. It's just that getting to level 50 is really a grind more than anything. And the reward you get is just, Luigi's balloons turn golden now. It's not really a great reward. It's not really... you play Luigi's Balloon World more for the fun, and not exactly to, like, get level 50. And I had fun. But after a while, it was like... I had to switch worlds just to... make things not stale for myself, so I would still continue to get progress in terms of the levels. But, I would still have variety in the levels, in the kingdoms I was playing. Sometimes I would play the Bowser Kingdom, sometimes I would play the... I forgot the names, unfortunately. Was it Desert Kingdom, or was it something else? I don't know. Either way. Yeah, it was Bubble Lane Kingdom sometimes, too. But it was interesting. Oh, no, it was Link Kingdom. Seaside Link Kingdom, yeah. Bubble Lane and Seaside Kingdom, and there was Lake Kingdom, and that's... its location, I forgot the name. Well, whatever. I had a fun time with Odyssey, and then eventually I got Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. That was fucking great. I had a lot of fun with Ultimate. But now it's clear that I just want a Smash Bros. Break. Don't know when the next Smash Bros. Will be, but I already talked about it in my Super Smash Bros. Commentary, so there's no need for me to go back to that. But since then, and since like free All-Stars, I have... thanks to Nintendo Switch Online, I have played the classic Mario games, Mario 1, Mario 2, Mario 3, even Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3, thanks to the GBA service. I have replayed Super Mario 64 again on NSO. It's like, I think I've 100% completed the original Super Mario 64 4 times, and then Super Mario 64 DS 5 times. I was doing a 5th playthrough of Super Mario 64 on NSO, but I feel like I may just cancel that. I may just redo that one, and then I will get like 5. Actually, let me count. So Wii Virtual Console, Wii Virtual Console, 3 All Stars, and so okay, yeah. So 4 times, and all in different ways. But the second one would the 5th one would be NSO again. It's just that I was streaming it for friends, but online was not really working in our favor. So I think I may just cancel that one and may just do something different because I got confirmation. My best friend and his girlfriend are giving me a capture card for Christmas, and I thank them so much. If you're watching this, thank you. Thank you so fucking much. That opens the door so much in terms of commentaries for the future. This may be the last commentary of 2023. It probably is, going out with a bang with Super Mario Brothers. Which the reason why, originally I wanted to do Christmas nights, but I didn't. Saturn emulation was just not working, and I wanted to show off the extra features that the original Saturn release had, like time attack, score attack, and Sonic level. But I had to cancel that because Saturn emulation was just not cooperating with me. My PC, with OBS especially. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do Mario Bros. Because while it's not Christmas related, the Wii Virtual Console version actually did come out on Christmas. and it's Super Mario Bros. It's just like, hell yeah, baby, hell yeah. It's one of the most iconic games of all time. So yeah, and but with the capture card I'm getting, there's gonna be a whole lot more games that I'll probably be able to play in the future. I have plenty of ideas. I actually have a notepad of potential future commentaries that I want to do. Don't know which one I'll go right away whenever I do get the capture card, but well, first of all, I want to set that up, and then I probably like stream it to some friends on Discord, and then maybe I'll do a commentary, or maybe I'll just reverse it. I don't know. The possibilities are wild with that, but yeah. Outside of that, I actually haven't. Besides like some spin-offs like Super Mario Kart, Mario Kart 64, and Mario Kart 7. Eventually, I got to that. Super Mario 3D Land, which I actually almost forgot. I got Super Mario 3D World in 2017. I have never got the Switch version because, gotta be honest, if I were to play the Switch version, I would only go there for Bowser's Fury. I could replay the main game again, but if I really want to 100% that again, considering the amount of time it took for me to do it on the Wii U version, especially because on the Wii U version I was by myself, but I had multiple controllers. On the Switch, I don't really have any. At the time of recording, I don't have any other controllers for my Switch, only the Joy-Cons. So I would be alone, or at least two players if I can play with just a single Joy-Con. Yeah, I would have to replay the levels at least 3 times to get it with everybody because there's 5 playable characters with that game. And yeah, no, not necessarily something I want to do again. No, that took a lot out of me to do 100%ing Super Mario 3D World. And then with the whole 3DS thing in 2022 and 2023, I got Super Mario 3D Land. It was the big first game I got for the system, and it's very simple, yes, but it's just really a fun game. I just really enjoyed 3D Lands. Of course, I haven't replayed it since, but it was a fun time. It was a really fun time, and and if you have a 3DS, if you haven't played Mario 3D Lands, play it. Outside of that, I've also played New Super Mario Bros. Wii in 2021, and I was actually able to 100% the game by myself in like a week, which kind of really goes to show how much I've grown as a gamer, as a epic gamer. To where it comes to a point where I'm like, oh wow, I'm actually able to 100% a New Super Mario Bros. Game pretty decently now. And maybe one day I'll go to 2 and U. If I go to U, I'll probably go to like U Deluxe. And maybe that one would be a bit easier to 100% considering Navid is in the game. So if I ever have trouble with one of the star coins, I would just like play as Navid in some levels. I'll try not to abuse him though. But I'm not sure when I would ever go to those games. But one day, and of course I have to mention this because why would I not? Super Mario Bros. Wonder that came out recently. I'm not sure when I'll get that game, or if I'm getting it for Christmas. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but that's a game I really want to play because it looks so good. It looks like a really fun Mario experience. So yeah, definitely, I want to play that one eventually. And also, there's like rumors of a new Switch coming around, and I've heard rumors here and there that maybe there's gonna be a free Mario game, if not a launch close to it. And I'm like, hey, new 3D Mario game. It's been a while since Odyssey. It's been since 2017. It's been 6 years now. It's gonna be 7 next year. So yeah, I think it's time for a new 3D Mario game. Yeah. But in terms of spin-offs, like there's a lot of Mario spin-offs I haven't really touched. Like there's some Mario Karts I haven't touched yet, like the S, Wii, Double Dash. There's Mario Party I haven't even touched yet, but I do want to play with some friends eventually. Mario Golf and Mario Tennis. I played a tiny bit of tennis, but never golf. Tennis, a tiny bit of the Nintendo 64 tennis, and then I remember that when NSO game trials were. There was an NSO game trial of Mario Tennis Aces, and I played a little bit of the story modes, but I wasn't really convinced enough to buy the game for itself. It's good. It's good. It's just that it's not really a game that I would go out of my way to actually buy at full price. Maybe one day, like if I see it for cheap, but not anytime soon. Not really big on Mario sports games, although I do feel bad for the people who have been getting like very empty Mario Sports games. Like, they're good, but they could be better. They could have way more content, and it's disappointing to see that Nintendo's been doing a lot of great stuff during the Switch generation, but those are the few games that people have like complaints about, and hopefully they'll do better next time, or at least offer more content at launch. Like, yes, you get free content updates, but it really does feel like the game feels empty, like feels kind of empty without those kind of updates. Like, the game is relying on those kind of updates, or it feels like the games are rushed and they have to like postpone content afterwards just to make certain months of the year, so that Nintendo has a constant schedule, so they don't make a repeat of the Wii U days where, yeah. But yeah, and I think there's actually another thing I would like to discuss, which is like Mario media outside of video games. Like, I don't have that much experience, but like, I do remember when I was a kid, I did watch the anime film, and I remember enjoying it, but it's been so long, so I don't remember much of it. The Super Mario Bros. Live action movie of 1993, I've heard of countless things about it, I've seen reviews of it, but I've never actually watched it for myself. Maybe I'll do it soon, I don't know. And the Illumination one that came out this year, I liked it. It was nothing too special, but, you know, I liked that there's clearly passion behind it. It's just, I wish that the pacing was a bit better. That's all. And I hope they can fix it with the sequel, because there's probably going to be a sequel coming. If it hasn't been announced, that it's pretty much guaranteed, considering that the success the Illumination movie did. But besides that, I also remember when I was very young, and these kinds of TV series were easily available to watch on YouTube. I remember watching the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. I didn't watch the Legend of Zelda show. I only watched the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, but I remember watching the entirety of it alongside sometime before or after the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. But that was so long ago that I don't remember much of it. Weirdly enough, I actually remember the live action bits. I've always found it interesting that that show was split into animated portions and live action portions, and the live action portions were pretty much, the brothers' lives in Brooklyn, them just helping out a bunch of characters. And I don't know why, I like that concept. I like that they brought back the idea that, the Mario Brothers are from Brooklyn in the Illumination movie. That's something that I kind of wish was canon. It was like, yeah, it's like they came from Brooklyn and eventually stumbled their way onto the Mushroom Kingdom. Yeah, sure, why not? You know, Italian Americans from Brooklyn. I just like the concept. I think I just think it's neat. Yeah. As we're wrapping this up, since there's only like 2 levels left, I kind of just want to give my final thoughts. Basically, Super Mario Bros. is a good game. It did revolutionize it. Nowadays, it's still a fun game to play, and I do feel like the difficulty for the time is actually pretty good. It's not bullshit hard. It's actually pretty moderate. It's just that the final few levels can get a bit frustrating, but not too hard, I'd say. It's just that I'll admit, once again, I was struggling with those levels. So much so that I had to save state in a few locations because I really... The Hammer Bros. Can go suck it. Ugh! The Hammer Bros. can really go suck it. But the game itself, it's good. Like, if you... I don't see anything wrong in starting with this one. Don't play Lost Levels. I have played Lost Levels recently. Thank you, Rewind feature, for making the game bearable. That's not a game I'm gonna replay anytime soon. And it's so disappointing as a sequel because it's just like, it's Mario 1 again, but with bullshit hard levels. That's not really interesting for a sequel. It's not. It just really is not. But Mario 1, yeah, good game. Maybe one day I'll do another Mario commentary. Maybe Mario 64. Maybe Mario 2? Mario 3? Sunshine? I don't know. There's so many possibilities with Mario, and the thing is that this isn't the first Mario commentary I'm doing. I mean, I did Mario Paint in Mario Artist Paint Studio a while back, and I had fun with that one. It's funny how the first Mario commentary I do for this channel is not one of the mainline games. It's a spin-off, and a spiritual successor to that spin-off that never released outside of Japan. It's funny how things work sometimes. But yeah, Mario 1 is really fun. I overall enjoy the Mario series. And with that being said, I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, or Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. I just hope you have happy holidays, and you all just enjoy yourselves as we're heading into the year of 2024. With that being said, I will see you all next time. Peace.